Good evening. We know so much about Union Public Service Commission, the so-called UPSC. Every year, lakhs of people will express their interest in the form of submitting the application form for writing this civil service examination for coveted posts like IAS, IPS, IFS, and various other services. But when it comes to the people, the few people will be clearing the preliminary examination, and some people will be going to main examination, and out of that again filtering will take place. Finally, at the rate of 1:2, the candidates will be going to the interview. Now all these days you might have seen some people will prepare very seriously for the examination. Some people will have a long term goal, like maybe 2 years or 3 years you prepare, so then you can crack the exam. So obviously that's a good idea, but basically what will happen is that, so from fundamentals itself, if you are really very strong, then automatically you can crack this examination. Sometimes what will happen, a candidate may be serious, and has applied for the examination, but just before the examination the candidate feels that the preparation is not up to the mark, and instead of wasting an attempt, let me give a very serious attempt next year. So this is the general idea, basic idea with respect to almost all the candidates who are this writing this examination. And if you look at last year, 9 lakh people have applied for civil service preliminary examination. Out of that, around 4.5 lakhs people, so they wrote the examination. I am talking about preliminary examination, meaning out of the total just 50% wrote the examination. But since UPSC received so many application forms, UPSC has to make arrangements for every candidate. You cannot deny the right to write the examination for any candidate after expressing the interest in the form of submitting the application form. Once a candidate submitting the application form means expressing his desire to write the examination. So obviously it is the responsibility of the UPSC to this making an arrangement to write the examination. But if 50%, 40% people are not writing, is it not the wastage of the resources? It is not an easy job for the UPSC. When lakhs of people are writing, you need to book various examination centers. So you need to hire the invigilators. You need to print so many papers, and you need to spend a lot of money, and you need to transport these papers from one place to the other place, and a lot of work will be there for UPSC. And when so many candidates are not writing, is it not the wastage of resources? Definitely it is a wastage of the resources, right? And all these days what happened, a candidate after applying for the examination, if he or she doesn't appear for the examination at the preliminary level, that attempt is not counted. Now UPSC is very serious with respect to such type of candidates. To make the students or the aspirants very serious, it made it very very clear, the moment you apply, that should be considered as an attempt. But UPSC alone cannot take the decision, and approval has to come from the government. That's the reason why UPSC has sent a suggestion to the government of India with respect to allowing UPSC to count the application as one attempt, whether the candidate attempts or not. The moment you apply for the examination, that should be considered as an attempt. Then what will happen? Only very serious people will come forward, and they will apply, and they will go for the examination. Am I clear? Very, very, very important. This is really a wonderful suggestion by UPSC, and government may accept, because it is not just conducting the examination. You need to conduct the examination very effectively and very efficiently. Clear point number one. Next point number two is that you need to this save the resources, maybe financial resources, maybe material resources, maybe the human resources. You need to this safeguard this. That is the reason why this is a suggestion that is given by the so-called UPSC, and we'll see what the government will say. And I don't think government will say no for this. Government will accept for this. Fine. Now, another important thing with respect to today is that if you look at central government jobs, if you look at higher education, you have reservations, and those reservations are very much permitted by the constitution. Starting from the commencement of the constitution, scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, they are being provided with the reservations, and over a period of time, OBC, other backward classes, so they have also been provided with the reservations. Now the government has come out with a plan today that economically backward classes of a general category, EBCs, economically backward classes of general category, should be provided with a 10% of the reservation. And if you look at the reservation now, it is almost 50%. And if you add this 10%, this is going to become 60%. And whenever government decides to provide the reservation like this, you need to go for an amendment of the constitution. And the government is very serious about this. And tomorrow they are going to table this bill in the parliament. And obviously, majority of the parties may not be saying no for this, because this is the election season. So within 2 to 3 months, 4 months, you got the elections. And obviously, critics are saying that this is an election stunt by the government to appease the people who belong to that section of the society. Right? And another problem that is going to come up will be, though there will be a constitutional amendment for this, though you increase the reservations to 60%, that may be objected by the apex court, because the earlier decisions, earlier judgments were also there that the reservations should not be more than 50% of the total vacancies. So this we have discussed very elaborately along with the examples during our Indian polity classes. So once this amendment is made, and obviously, so it will be challenged in the court of law, and court may stop or stall the constitutional amendment. And it is not the new one, the conflict between judiciary and the government. It's not new one. Starting from the year 1950 and 51, so this particular problem is this. Am I clear? Government says that we are providing reservations for the welfare of so and so sections of the society. How can you stop us? Because we are government. Under the directive principles of the state policy, we need to govern. In order to govern better, you should also concentrate on the welfare state, meaning welfare of the people of various sections should be important to the government. But as the judgment was there, which was delivered by Supreme Court earlier, with respect to the restriction on number of on the percentage of the reservation, the Supreme Court may not accept this constitutional amendment even if it is passed. Right? But what is going to happen? So we need to see this. Basically, what happens even in the earlier days, also earlier in even before this, what happened? The government tried to amend the constitution, and the government also added a clause that in this particular aspect, judicial review is not permitted, meaning judiciary cannot interfere. And judiciary got angry. How can you make an amendment in such a way where our interference is not possible? Meaning you are trying to touch the concept of independence of the judiciary, and independent judiciary itself is a basic structure of the constitution. So that should not be touched. If you touch, you are violating the principles of the constitution. Like this is what is happening since the beginning, and another conflict has come up now. So this is going to be a very serious one. Government, of course, the current government, because of various reasons, the government is uh, planning for this to provide the 10% of reservation for economically backward classes, and it is also going to announce various schemes for the welfare of the people, and that too just before the election. Just before the election, this is going to happen. And obviously, political analysts can say very clearly that this is an election stunt. Clear? So, but this is not going to happen immediately. This particular episode will continue for a long period of time. Bill will be introduced tomorrow, that is January 8th, 2019, and over a period of time that will be passed, or it may be pushed up to give confidence to the people that we are doing something for the people. And once it becomes an act, it will be challenged before the court. And you can also observe, because the government is planning for this, and tomorrow government will introduce the bill in the parliament, immediately somebody will approach the judiciary. Judiciary may say that since this is in the stage of processing, we cannot interfere. Once it becomes a reality, then come to us, because we don't know what is going to happen in the parliament. Parliament may pass the bill, parliament may reject the bill, right? So various concepts are there. You observe this very clearly, and you try to analyze these situations, very effectively. That's going to help you with respect to writing the examination, writing the answer in the examination in a better and better manner. So this is going to be a serious conflict between judiciary and the government, right? And obviously, some people will definitely object for this, right? And some people who are going to get benefited with this, they will be happy, right? That is the reason why for every move, please remember, for every step, for every policy, for every program, you got both advantages and disadvantages. So there are pros and there are cons. Clear? Some people will support, some people will negate. Is that clear? But ultimately, what happens is that if that particular move is benefiting larger sections of the society, so then that should be allowed to go ahead. If that step is, this creating problem, then that should be stopped. That's the reason why, whatever the issue you think, my dear close friends, that issue will have both advantages and disadvantages. If advantages are more, disadvantages are less. If disadvantages are more, advantages are less. Clear? So don't go just by one view, because you are preparing for the examinations like a civil services examination. You are preparing for examinations like group 1 services. So you need to have very strong analytical abilities. Clear? That habit of thinking in a balanced manner should be cultivated in you. That is the reason why, just because government has said that 10% we are going to give, right? So don't feel happy or don't feel unhappy. So be in a balanced manner, whether you are going to get benefited out of that or whether you are going to lose with that particular decision. So that is secondary. But as a person with lots of balance, how exactly you think about this? Clear? So that's how you need to think. I'm clear? And we'll continuously watch what exactly is going to happen in the parliament. Of course, parliament session is going to come to an end, but that may be extended because of this particular bill. But otherwise, very soon budget session is also going to be started, so where the government may push it and government may try to pass it. But we'll see what is going to happen with this. Last but not least, with respect to Indian cricket, right? It's a very good sign with respect to Indian cricket. Out of 4 matches, the fourth match was drawn. Actually, India was supposed to win this fourth test too. India played absolutely well. But unfortunately, because of the rain, the match was declared drawn. But otherwise, India won first test and also the third test. So this is the first time that India won a test series against Australia in Australia, right? So this is a really very good thing. And another important point is that with respect to APPSC, day after tomorrow, that is on January 9th, I'm going to make some more announcements by 9 o'clock in the evening. I'm going to announce that. Fine. And I'll stop at this stage, and I thank you one and all for being with me this evening. Take very good care, and I'll see you tomorrow with more and more current affairs. Take very good care. Good night.